Stephen Speak, a podcast about everything and nothing. Don't forget to subscribe. Hello! That was loud. Was it loud? I don't know. I'm feeling good today. Episode 3. Toi in French, isn't it? Toi? Yes. Is it ni in Japanese? I don't know. Don't know why I'm doing that. Episode 3. Thank you very much for the listens and the downloads and the follows, subscribes, all that sort of stuff. While recording this episode, I hit just over 100 downloads, so that's incredible. So that includes the trailer as well. So, but 60 odd downloads between 2 episodes already is fantastic for me. And again, I'm not doing it for popularity or to get loads of listeners so I can monetize it or anything like that. But it's just nice to know that people are listening and giving me feedback, and I've had some nice feedback again. So thank you so much. I'm trying to be real. I'm trying to just keep it, just as it would be if I was just rambling to you. So hopefully that's coming across and you're enjoying it. Hopefully so. Please share it with people. If you are enjoying it, let people know. Links are in the description below for following me. If you do like it, you can help me out by buying me a coffee. If that's your vibe, no pressure. You might also notice, I'm using Roman numerals to do the episodes because I like Roman numerals. So I know some people can't figure Roman numerals out. So sorry about that, but I like Roman numerals, so that's how I'm gonna label my podcasts. And that's all I've got to say about that. Maybe I should do a podcast on the education of how to read Roman numerals. I just think it's a nice thing, And the Rocky series of movie used them. So what more do you need? What more, backup of a good idea do you need than the Rocky movies using Roman numerals? Is there any other movies use Roman numerals? Is it just Rocky? Surely another movie franchise has used Roman numerals. Anyway, again, I've not really 100% planned this, as you can tell already. But I think what I'm going to talk about is age today, is growing up. I spoke the other day about in the other podcast. It probably was the other day, really, because it's been such a short space of time. Because this is the 3rd episode in a few weeks, so yeah, again, not following the schedule. Apologies. Hey-ho. So age. So I talked in episode 1 and 2 a little bit about me, being a bit immature, creative, using my imagination and stuff like that. So I thought I'd address, growing up, just getting older, in general, really. Now, when I was a child, I start on a really weird bit, but I was absolutely petrified of my parents dying and getting old and dying, and I was petrified about it. If someone mentioned that my parents may die, sometimes I was outwardly upset about it, and my mum and my dad can probably back me up on this, but I was inwardly petrified when I was a toddler, probably up to the age of 9 or 10 actually. It affected me quite badly if the thought of something happening to them and dying and not being there, and I couldn't cope with death. Not that I'd really experienced a lot of it neither, which is the weird thing. I don't think I'd actually experienced anyone close to me passing away at that point. And so I don't actually know where that came from. It's really strange, isn't it, when you have this weird irrational fear kind of thing as a kid and or as an adult, and you don't know where it came from as a child. I feel like I hate things going near my eyes, terribly. The thought of, it's a bit of a tangent, but I hate cucumber as well, unless it's in duck pancakes with plum sauce. Then you get the crispy duck pancake things from the Chinese. I don't mind the shredded cucumber in that. I think it's because I ate it once without realising it was cucumber, and the plum sauce is quite strong, so you can't taste it, but it gives a nice crunch, so I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it in tzatziki, the Greek yogurt-y stuff with garlic and Greek yogurt. Don't mind it in that because it's shredded and the garlic's quite strong and it's nice. You put it on kebabs and stuff, and I'm quite okay with that. But if you give me a cucumber, you could not pay me £1 million to eat a cucumber. Like, it's just, why does people put it on salads? Why do they put... No. And I hate things going near my eyes. I don't know where that comes from neither. I mean, obviously it's like a self-defense thing randomly. Like, most people wouldn't want something to go in their eyes, but if I watch... My dad's like this as well, actually. My dad doesn't like things going near his eyes. Maybe I get it from him just by, like, learning from his fear. I don't know. But if someone mentions, like, oh, such and such, they put a pin near their eye, my eyes, like, I can feel the pin. Or sometimes I'll pick, like the weirdest thing, I could pick, like, a magazine up and look at the corner and think, oh, God, that's sharp, that could go in my eye. And then that's it then. I think, I actually have, like, a weird thing, like, it's going to suddenly jump into my eyes and stab me in the eyes. Oh, God, thinking about it now is... Oh. Anyway, growing up, being young... God. Yeah. What was I saying? Yes. I was petrified of mum and dad dying. So for me, growing up was like, I wanted to be like Peter Pan when I was a kid. I didn't really want to grow up. I wanted to do the things that adults did. Like, I wanted the responsibilities, and I had an older brother. Well, I still have an older brother. So he's like 5.5 years older than me. So when I was like 4 or 5 years old, he was doing things that were responsible. So allowed to go to the shop and buy some milk. He was allowed to, like, maybe help in the garden and do a bit of digging or weeding and maybe even cut the grass. And I wanted to do all them things. So it probably accelerated me growing up a little bit. But I also had this super vivid childlike imagination, as I've discussed before. Go back and listen to that episode 2, if you want to hear more. And I'm also, as an adult, again, listen to episode 2. But in my brain, I didn't want to grow up. I just thought, like, getting old was a bad thing. Like, people get old and they get grumpy and they have to go to work and they, all these other things that go with it. And for me, that was a petrifying concept. Like, who wants to do any of that, for one thing? And if you get old, you die. I don't think I had a concept that young people die. And that was, growing old just meant death to me. And I have no idea where that came from. But I obviously shook it off at some point. And then growing up, I wanted to be older because I've always looked very young. Maybe not so much now that I'm a bit older, but like when I was very young, when I was like 4, 5, 6 years old, I was super skinny. Like, I would not eat at all. Like, again, my mum would testament to this. Like, she would make me like a fold over cheese sandwich with the cheese on the side because I was weird. I used to ask for a cheese sandwich with the cheese not in the sandwich, and then I would then decide if I wanted the cheese in the sandwich. And I was obsessed with cheese sandwiches. I would always eat my cereal in the morning. So my cereal would go down, treat, no worries, every day, eat my cereal, maybe a little bit of toast, normally just cereal. And then I could make a packet of Watsits last about 4 or 5 days, and I'd have like a little fold-over sandwich, cheese on the side. And I was very much a creature of habit with my food. Like, I would very, very set. Like, tea time was a little bit different. I would. Again, my mum would disagree, but I think I was a bit more adventurous in my evening meal times. But lunchtime was very much like crackers and cheese on the side, or a cheese sandwich, cheese on the side. I don't know where that comes from. Why? I don't know why. Like, I was like, if you put the cheese in the sandwich, I asked for a cheese sandwich with the cheese on the side, and the cheese came in the sandwich, I'd lose my mind. Like. We can come back to another episode, but Sarah thinks I might be a little bit autistic, and as an adult, I can see where she gets that from. But looking back at my childhood, I think I might have been, because I wouldn't eat it. Like, I couldn't just take it out because it was covered in butter then, and buttered covered cheese was not edible on its own. So if I decided that I wanted a sandwich with the cheese on the side, and I was going to eat the cheese on its own, then eat the buttered bread, I couldn't then do that if I couldn't take the cheese out. It's getting me stressed thinking about it. Where was I going with this? Yeah, anyway, I don't even know. I've completely lost it now. Me being skinny and not eating a lot, yeah, and looking young and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so I looked really young when I was little, and I think because I was so tiny as well, and I had blonde hair and blue eyes, and I was very cute, I must admit. And But even when I was like 5 or 6, I think people thought I was a lot younger. But I acted quite old, and I think they just thought, oh, he's really clever for his age. But I was just older, and I think I was clever as well. We can come back to that in another episode where I'm bigging myself up for my intelligence. My love for working alone instead of part of a team, but also being a team player. Yeah, so I've always looked young, and I think that really hit me when I started going to high school as well, because I went from like being super skinny, and then when I got to junior school, I didn't really grow upwards. So my growth spurt came at a very late time for me, and some would say never, because I'm only 5'7" and a little bit. 5'7" and that's fart, as my dad used to say. Where does that phrase come from? Yeah, so I've always I've always been small, and started going to high school, and instead of growing upwards, I started putting a lot of what people call puppy fat, and I don't know where that phrase comes from either. Maybe I should do an episode on stupid phrases, especially Irish ones, because my mum's got some crackers. Yeah, so I've always been young looking, and if I can find the picture, I'll post it to social media to show you, because there's a picture of me in my leavers photograph from high school. I think I've posted it on my own Facebook previously. I'll try and find it, but you will not believe. I might not even tell you how old I am in the picture. No, Will, I'm 16. I'm 16 in the picture. You won't believe it, though. And it's my leavers. I think I just said it's my leavers picture. But it's my leavers picture from high school. So, bearing in mind, I'm going to go to college within like 6 months down the line from this picture being taken is my probably college start date. And I probably look about 10 or 11. Like, I'm not going to, I've got a big chunky round face, and yeah, I look like a child. You would probably think it was a leavers picture from junior school than it is from high school, and I hate that picture. I absolutely hate that picture. And looking back, like I can see now why all the girls I fancied in school like just thought I was cute, because I was cute. I was 12-year-old cute, not 16-year-old boyfriend material. And I feel like I had a lot of talents to give, and I was like cool in quotation marks. I was, I did music and I was in bands, but that's not boyfriend cool, I don't think, in high school, especially when you looked how I did. And I don't think it was till I was an adult when I look back and go, you know what, I can't blame that girl for not going out with me, or I can't blame that girl for just calling me cute and going, oh, let's just be friends. Which I heard that so much. Tragic. Yeah, but the time from leaving school to starting college, I did have a little bit of a growth spurt. I started towards the end of school. I started going to the gym, so I really wanted to lose my puppy fat. I really wanted to like try and get some testosterone going. See if I can spit. I mean, I must have been 4'10", 4'11", when I was at like senior school. And from leaving school to like starting college, I grew like 6 inches. Like, and I started going to the gym like probably in the March before we finished, like during exam time and stuff. And I was proper like getting quite buff actually. I must admit. I probably went from like the fattest I'd been as a young adult, to being quite trim and buff. And looking back, I still like. In my brain, looking back, I think, oh, still chunky then. But I found a picture the other week of me. We'd been down to Brighton, and I think I was like 20, and I was pretty buff, to be fair. I was 19, 20, and I was thinking, nah, you weren't fat at all. Like, now I'm fat. Maybe I should take my own advice again and start doing the gym. But yeah, I was just going to the gym, and I got a summer job. I thought I was going to doss around all summer, basically. And my dad basically said, he gave me a week, and he went, right, you're getting a job. And I laughed at him a little bit, went, haha, no, I'm not. We're going on holiday at the end of the summer, and then I'm starting college. And then he literally phoned like an agency and got me a job in a packing factory, and that made me grow up a lot, actually. That job there, seeing some real stuff, real work life environment. Because up to that point, I'd worked on the market stalls in Crewe, town centre where I live, setting the market stalls up and had a paper round and stuff. But working in a factory, wow, yes, you see some stuff. Like you see all walks of life. You see students working there. You see people, have just been working there since school, and yeah, I think that's an episode in itself, that experience at the packing factory. Yes, most definitely. But anyway, doing that job was very physical. One of the jobs I'd do is like lifting, packing pallets and stuff like that. So it was a lot of lifting. So I was going to the gym and doing this job at the same time. And I must admit, I got pretty buff and I grew and I got to the size I am now. So 5'7". And a lot of people from school would see me like a year after leaving school and like, geez, what's happened to you? Like, and I was like, I grew a little bit. This is what I wanted to happen a year and a half ago. Maybe some of them girls would have gone out with me. Excuse me, I was just reaching for a drink. I've got a can of Iron Brew to wet my whistle. Iron Brew Extra, not a sponsor. It's made of girders, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know why I keep saying not a sponsor. It's quite obviously not sponsored. I have 30 listeners. On average. Yeah, so I was quite keen to get to 18 as well. Like, a lot of my friends, because they looked older, had been out drinking, could go to the pub and stuff because they could get in because they looked old enough. And, back in the day, it was a little bit more slack to get in the pubs, you could chart, well, especially if you were a girl, you could kind of just, like, girls, I always thought, like, there was girls in my school when they were 14 would go in the pub because they just looked older. And, yeah, so I couldn't wait to get when I turned 16, I applied for my provisional license straight away to get some actual ID so I could prove I was the right age. Because again, I looked so young, and even when I lost my weight and I became like a taller, leaner Steve, I still looked young. Like, don't get me wrong, I still looked young, but my ID really helped me out. Then I was like, right, I'm gonna get my ID. I can prove, I can walk around and confident that I'm okay. But turning 18 was a big thing for me. Like, it was a bad thing for me as well in some sense. Like, turning 18 was, for me, kind of losing the weight kind of enabled me to discover girls a little bit more, because I also it did make me look a little bit older or more true to my age, let's say, and a little bit trimmer. There, everyone likes the that's probably the wrong thing to say, but I probably looked more attractive because I wasn't puppy fat Steve. Hashtag puppy fat Steve. And I think that it gave me more confidence. That's probably actually what it was actually. It probably wasn't the fact I was chunky. It's probably like losing that weight gave me the confidence, to be honest. And I'd gone after doing my summer job, which I really appreciate my dad actually for getting me. I hated him at the time. But I earned quite a lot of money over the summer because it was pretty good money. It was pretty, I mean, it was hard. Like, I did 8-hour shifts, 9-hour shifts, 10-hour shifts. I had to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't get home till 6 o'clock at night. And I did that every day, sometimes 6 days a week. But it was good. It was better than the average bear. It was better than the average hourly rate. So for my age at the time, I think it should have been like, I don't know, say like £3 something an hour. And I was on like £5 something. So it was bloody good money. So what I did at the end of the summer was, before we went away on holiday, I went to a retail outlet, like one of them. It's called Cheshire Oaks. So a big outlet village where they have like discounted clothes. So I went to the Levi's shop and Nike and all these other places. And I literally just, because I'd lost some weight and I wanted to look good for college, I just kitted out my wardrobe. I paid my way for holiday, got my own holiday money. We went to, it was like our last family holiday. So me, my brother, and my mum and dad went to Greece, went to Corfu. Sound like the start of a Fat Les song then. We went to Corfu, and it was a brilliant time, I must admit. It was so much fun, and I think I became a bit more of an adult then as well, to be honest, because I was 17. Was I 17? I was coming up to 17. But because my brother was there, my mum and dad let my brother look after me a little bit. He was already at university, and he kind of didn't want to come with us, I don't think, but he enjoyed himself. But I kind of went off on my own one night. You know what they're like in these resorts in Greece and Spain and stuff. They don't really care how old you are. If you say you're 18, they just believe you and give you shots. So that's pretty much what one of the nights was. It was just me swanning round, left Gavin in a nightclub chatting up the barmaid, and I went on a night out on my own, because I've always been confident enough to do stuff like this. I've never had a problem with swanning off on my own, and like I've been America on a holiday on my own, like and a lot of people were worried about me doing that, and I was like, it's fine. And this is what I did this night, and had the best time was chatting up these nurses in this nightclub, and did. I don't think it actually was a karaoke, but the Robbie Williams song "Rock DJ." This is a completely again side story, but I was in this little like taverna bar thing, nightclub bar, and I'd asked the DJ for Rock DJ, and I think I must have told him the reason why. Now the reason why was in the music video for Rock DJ. It's a bit there's like an explicit version and a normal version, but in both versions, Robbie Williams there's all these women going around him on roller skates, and he's in the middle, standing, showing off, singing this song, and he's slowly stripping off, and he takes his trousers off, and he's got these like boxer, like no, they're not boxer briefs, they're just like brief pants, and they've got like it was a lion or a tiger on the front. Now, I'd been bought a pair of them, and I was wearing them, so I was like, "You need to put this song on because I have Robbie Williams pants on." Get it done. And he put it on and he handed me the DJ microphone. Now, I don't remember it being a karaoke. I was extremely drunk as a 16-year-old. Not that I'm promoting this. This is not a good thing to do. Go out on your own and get drunk, boys and girls. I had the best time, though. But he gave me the microphone to sing along with it. And I literally just went to the middle of the dance floor and owned it. I was probably crap. I was very, very drunk, but people were loving it. I half stripped off, took my trousers off and everything. And there was this group of nurses. I remember them because one of them was gorgeous. And I was like, yeah. And my brain was saying, tell her you're 18, because she was kind of getting a bit amorous with me. And I was like, hey, I'm going to be a man tonight. And I could tell her friends, I think she was obviously just as drunk as I was. And all her friends were kind of like looking at me as if say, he's not the age you think he is. And she said to me, she went, oh, I really like you, blah. Let's go somewhere. And I was like, she went, can I just ask you how old you are though? You are 18, aren't you? You look like you. Are you like 20? And I was like, my brain was going, lie. But my heart just went, no, I'm 16. Because, I'm too innocent. And she gave me a big hug and a kiss on the cheek and left. But again, I was having that much of a nice night. I didn't even care. I'd owned that dance floor for like 5 minutes, and I was high-fiving everyone. And we were walking around for the rest of the holiday as well. Like, in like groups of like, lads holidays and girl holidays and stuff. And them nurses one day actually saw me and all came and gave me hugs and stuff. And I remember my dad just stood there with a big grin on his face like, what have you been up to? Like, why do these people know you and keep high-fiving you? Yeah, it was ace, to be fair. But yeah, it was our last summer. It was our last family holiday, and I felt that was kind of like a bit of a coming of age holiday for me. I've never really been on a proper lads holiday at all, apart from my stag do, where a load of my mates went away. We stayed in a cottage together and got drunk. I've never been on a broad, like, you get people going Ibiza and stuff like this. I've never done that with my friends. I have different friends. Like, I've never really been into the club scene, or anything like that. So I've always, from a young age, I've always been like the old man. Like I'd like to go out and speak to my friends and go and have a nice. I'd like to go and have a nice pint and sit in the corner and chat. Don't be wrong. Like the Robbie Williams story, obviously tells you that I do like to go out and have a good time, but it's also a thing that it doesn't faze me just going and sitting. I'd sometimes prefer to go and sit down and just chill out. Whereas when the mood takes me, I will own the dance floor. And there's a few stories about that as well. I feel like I'm too old for that now, though. I feel like I've lost my moves because I've not been doing it for too long. There's been too much of a gap in my going out, and I think my dance skills have faded. So I wouldn't want to embarrass myself nowadays. I think I still have a go though. I'm as I've said before, I'm not so easily embarrassed. Anyway, so yeah, so my 18th birthday. I was really pleased to be 18. I think it was. For me, it wasn't scary, and I've never really had a fear of growing old since then, because I always feel like another year wiser. What's this year going to bring? And that fear of death is kind of left me as for myself. Like obviously, I know other people that die. That's still kind of one somewhat disturbs me, the thought of other people not being in my life. Having experienced a little bit of loss in the last decade. I think that happens as you get older, though. You get older and you experience that loss, because obviously you're getting older, but everyone else is. Yeah, it's just a fact of life, unfortunately, isn't it? But yeah, but turning 18, I had a joint 18th birthday party with one of my best mates, Scott, and it was a fancy dress. He came as James Bond, and I went as a musketeer, obviously. And it was a great night. My mum made the cakes, and it was a proper, we're turning 18, let's get drunk. And yeah, but turning 18, I was going back to my point earlier, kind of ruined me a little bit, because I'd obviously started college, and I'd always been quite good through school and stuff, growing up, quite sensible, did my work, quite academic. Could have done better at high school, to be honest, but I think the thing with me, I was losing interest in education, because I'd always been all the way through school super on it, super focused, that towards the end everyone was going, "Oh, Steve, you'll be fine." And some of the teachers even said to me, "Oh, even if you don't revise, you'll get a B. Oh, you'll pass, no problem. You don't even need to go into the exam and you'll get a C." So I think the way my brain was at the time, I was more focused on like trying to have a good time, trying to maybe fit in a little bit. So my academic stuff faded a little bit and waned off. And don't get me wrong, I did well at GCSEs, but I do always think to myself, you know what, if you had a revised for some stuff, or maybe put a little bit more effort in, I could have done even better. It's not really a regret, I wouldn't have thought. It's not really something I like beat myself up about, but it's just if I could go back and speak to younger Steve and say, listen, just work a bit harder for a few more weeks. It's only a few more weeks. It'll pay off. Having said that, I do have quite a nice, good job now, so would it have paid off more than it needed to? Who knows? Excuse me, I'm just knocking the microphone. Yeah, but as I say, the alcohol thing and turning 18, it made me. I was then allowed to go to pubs legally, because I'm quite rule based. I didn't really want to sneak into a pub anyway. I wouldn't have enjoyed it prior to officially being legal. But the discovery of kind of that Robbie Williams thing of thinking girls are attracted to me, tagged along with turning 18 a year later, was kind of a turning point for me in the sense that I was like, well, girls like me, and I found this wonderful thing called alcohol and pubs, and it's really social and it's fun, and all my friends do it, and my academic studies just went through the floor. Like I used to go to college lessons drunk. I'd go for a few beers at lunchtime and turn up drunk. And again, not that I'm condoning this, it's just how things happened. And I went to a sixth form, and they did have a rule about not going into the town. You were allowed to go into the town to shop and lunch and all that, but you weren't allowed to go to the pub. And they used to send some of the teachers around to check the pubs. And but we had an agreement with a couple of the teachers. Like we had an agreement with a couple of landlords. Jeez, that's hard to say. That if we went in, as long as we bought beer, they wouldn't grass us up, because the landlords were meant to phone the college and say some students are in here, and we were then told off, and there was a chance of expulsion and all that. But there was one of the teachers, and he was actually one of my teachers, and several times he came into the pub and caught us. And the first time he ever did, he walked in, and we were like, "Oh, busted!" It was a lovely spring summer day. Towards the end of the term, and we'd all decided to go in there at lunchtime, and I think we were missing some of the first lessons, actually, I must admit. I think it was actually when we were meant to be in, like, afternoon lessons, and I think I had a free period, but I still shouldn't have been in the pub, and one of my friends was just bagging off and missing the lesson, and he came in, and he looked at us, and we all just went, busted. Like, caught red-handed. There's no excuse. You can't even say, "Oh, we're walking back right now." We're literally sat, pint in hand, enjoying the sunshine. And I just went, "Sir, before you say anything, would you like a pint of mild?" And he came over with a wry smile, pulled the chair out, and he went, "I'll have a quick one, and we won't say anything about this, will we?" And I was like, "No, sir." And we went straight to the bar, got me a pint of mild, and we literally all finished our drinks, and he necked his, and we all walked back to college together. I'm not going to name his name because I wouldn't want to get him into trouble. He's probably retired now anyway, but I just thought that was hilarious, the fact that I took a punt. I was like, beer, do you want one? And he did. And yeah, I think that was the end of college for me, really. Like, I didn't do very well in college. I passed the things I did. I did geography, physics, and design, and I got passes in them all. But they weren't good passes. Like, they were like, I think, what was it, D, E, F, I think it was. So technically, an F's a pass at college, I believe, but it's only equivalent to like a B or an A at GCSE or something like that. Someone told me that. I don't know if that's true. Yeah, but I didn't do very well, and that was literally down to having a good time, having a good time, and I don't regret that. That's just how my college played out. But yeah, and that takes me to 18. That's me at 18, and I've not really been scared since that to get older, and even when the big 3-0 hit, I was just like, okay, like, I'm quite a good position in life, thanks. I think the only thing that concerned me was finding, like, someone that I knew I was going to be with forever. And that's no disrespect to the person I was with at the time, but I've always been in relationships where it's in doubt whether they're the person. And because I wanted to be married and have kids and stuff so much and settle down and that, and I had a good job and a house, and I had a car and a motorbike, and like, monetary wise and possession wise and kind of social wise, I was in a good position. But it was just the partner and the baby stuff that was missing, the family stuff, making a house a home and all that sort of stuff. And I think that's the only thing that bothered me when I passed 30. I think it was 31 was the breaker for me, and I celebrated that one. I think I was in Philadelphia when I celebrated my 31st birthday, and I think that was the big one for me. I was thinking, you're on holiday on your own. You need to be here with someone. And again, no disrespect to the person I was with at the time, but it turned out, we weren't in that position for each other. And then, yeah, and that's where Sarah came along not long after. So it all comes right in the end. And I've never really going through my 30s. I've not really been that bothered. Maybe I'll change when I get to 40. 40 is only about 18 months away as I record this, so maybe that'll change when I hit the big 40. I don't feel like it will. I know a lot of people get scared about being 40 or going to like that midlife. But again, I'm in a good position in life, I feel. And I think the only thing that completes it is again a baby. I'd like a baby to come along soon. We're working on it. And yeah, but I think in general, I think I'm good with growing old now. And I've got grey in my beard and a bit of grey flecks in my hair, but it's distinguished. I'm a distinguished gentleman now. A sign of wiseness in age. And yeah, I think the thing that makes me laugh though is when when you go out and you see the younger generation, and you always do it when your parents did it, and they go, "Oh, look at them," and feel old. And I'm getting to that point where, like, you go to a pub and some people come in and you think, are they even old enough to be in here? But that was me. That was me when I was 18. Like, looked 15, and everything comes full circle, doesn't it? Okay, I think I've ranted along. I think I've rabbited and ranted along long enough. Yeah, so that's my take on age and growing up a little bit and yeah, just generally getting older. Again, I might revisit this. I think there's some things I touched on in that that could be definitely expanded, like my college life and life and death. I don't want this podcast to be too serious though, so I'll touch on it. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. All the links in description. So all my social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If you'd like to support the show, then do so. Click on the links in the description. I would much appreciate it. I appreciate follows as well. So and until next time, I'll speak to you soon. You've been listening to Stephen Speak Podcast. I'd appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button.